Welcome back to the Titanium here. This is Mike, and today I want to talk to you about the Carmasters BW-003 Deformed Automan, the KO oversized version, fourth party oversized version of the Menasor from Magic Square. Now, this is a pretty cool looking figure. It works. There's a lot of good things about it. There are a couple of opportunities with the set, and I think it just really carries over some of the same flaws from the Magic Square set. And they include a lot of extra parts, and they include a lot of parts that Magic Square included and all that kind of stuff. So it's a little bit taller. It's slightly bigger than the Magic Square set. Now, I did get this at Show Z, and I'll have a link down below where you can get yours also. So we're going to talk about this. I'm actually going to do a quick rush through the Motormaster because I really view Motormaster as an accessory to this set, and then we're going to get into the Menasor because I think the Menasor is what everybody's looking for, and we're going to talk about that coming up. Alright, so here's the packaging. So it looks like a box that says Carmasters, Deformed Automan, and BW-003. There it goes. Pictures for reference only. You can kind of see the figure there. It is what it is. Some artwork on the back. Kind of cool. Nothing really all that special, but it feels like they crammed. It's heavy. Like they crammed a lot of stuff in there. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at this Motormaster. Now, he actually looks pretty good, and there's some paint on him and stuff. And he comes with some accessories, looking like he's got this sword that just for the Motormaster part of the sword, and it's got some silver paint on it, which is nice. And he also has a gun, and the gun has a translucent blast effect, which I don't know if Magic Squares came with the blast effect or not. Maybe this is something special that they're doing. But it looks pretty good. I mean, it all works for all that. But getting close up here and looking at the face, there's some paint on the face. The eyes are painted red, and let's see if we can get a little closer. And it's kind of like a pinkish, purplish tone to the face. So it looks pretty good in there too. And of course, it's done right with the head's like a box on the head, and then he's got a little bit of paint right here, the pinkish, purplish stuff going on right there, all the way down to the legs. And it's an interesting transformation where you kind of have to flip a panel there to make the leg look more like a leg. But it still kind of looks overall like it should. So really interesting how the transformation goes on. Of course, that's Magic Square engineering, but they still did a pretty good job with it, and they did a good job applying paint out. Now, it does feel pretty good. The quality of the plastic feels pretty good. It feels pretty solid. I don't know. It doesn't even feel quite like the usual Magic Square. To me, it feels a little bit thicker. It feels a little more thick. Looks because it's slightly oversized. Maybe that's why. So anyway, looking at this, let's go ahead and get into some articulation, and then we're going to work on some comparisons of this guy. So with this head, he does have a lot bit down. It does break the sculpt, though. Part of the transformation, and the head moves side to side, and it fell off the little pin there. That's fun. The thing about Legends is the way they're constructed, little things might pop off, and it's not that big of a deal. Okay, so shoulder, that's about as far as it's going to go. You can get the 360 out of it, and you can get a nice sword-wielding, two-handed sword-wielding pose going on like that. So he's got the butterfly on that shoulder. You do have the bicep swivel, and you have it appears to be a double-jointed elbow in there. So pretty good, pretty good. Now, I don't have the Magic Square, so all this is new to me. You do have the side-to-side, and this is like every Magic Square. It seems like they've tried to put in this super extreme ab crunch, but pretty good. And then you have this a uniflap, no flap on the back, so that you can go all the way to the front like so, and pretty much all the way to the back. That works out. You do have some rotation right here at the thigh area, and single jointed to the back, and then the foot operates fully independently, and you can move the toes a little bit too, and not really any up and down. So enough articulation that you'd want out of this figure, considering all he's ever going to do for me is just be a combined mode. They put a lot of work into this. So for those of you that want to display the team, he's going to display well as team. Alright, so real quick, let's do a quick comparison. He is much bigger, this much bigger than Optimus Prime from Magic Square, and it's about that much bigger of the Megatron. So that's how he looks. So let's say he looks next to one of his teammates, and that's how much bigger he is than one of the standard bots there. So let's go ahead and get this guy transformed up and see what Menasor looks like. Alright, so let's get this guy transformed up. So we're going to go ahead and start with the feet. So we can disconnect that. We're going to do one leg at a time here. So what we want to do is open this up and then fold this out. And there's a couple of cool things. So first of all, right here, it kind of hinges, so you can hinge it like that. So you can flip this little faux part around, and then you can pull out the grill. So it's going to be the real grill. Then down here, we want to rock this to the back, and then we're going to fold this up and tuck it in to here, and then that's going to tab in. Let's see here. Get that into here, and that's going to tab into that, and we're going to fold this back. See, there's a tab right here, and there's a slot. So we're going to fold this back, and it's going to go into here, like so. And we've got one side done. Now we need to do the other side. So, same thing on the other side. I'm going to untab that knee right there. We're going to open up the back piece. Where does that tab? Right here. And then that's going to free this up to move. We are going to rock this so that we can rotate this and then rock it back into place. And then folding this faux foot piece up into here. But let's get this out of the way first. And then tab that in. And you got to get that faux foot piece in there just right. Tab that back in. And then we're going to slightly open this, not way open or it won't clear for some reason, and then we're going to put all that into place. As you can see, we're going to tab that up and then plug the two legs together, which is going to make the front end of the Motormaster. So doing pretty good here. Now we can spread it out nice and even, and I guess when I spread that out, that kind of flattens this whole piece here, so that falls right into place. Now we're going to work on the upper body, and so we disconnect this, which is going to get rotated around in a second, but we can wait on that. We are going to put the arms forward. So the arms are going to go forward, and I guess we go ahead and just get them into position. So, or maybe not. No, we can't just yet. So we're going to fold this out of the way, and then we're going to tuck the head, flip the head around, and then tuck it in. Tuck that head in, and then the arm's going to come around, and then we're going to rotate it till we get to this spot so that you have that ball joint facing forward like so, and then we're going to turn the arm. So there's a lot of turning with this. Pop open that there, fold all this in so it folds down, and then you've got sort of the back end. So this is probably the most unsightly part of this mode, so it's not really the greatest part, but anyway. Get it to where we can realign this piece here, fold this around, pop this open, do all of that, and now we're going to tab it together. So we've got that. So you kind of see it's coming along. We need to do some stuff with these, but before we get in much deeper, we need to go ahead and rotate this around. Now we can get that out of the way. That's obviously going to plug in up top here like so. So then we need to work on these pieces. This is all going to fold out, and then you have another piece right here that folds up, and then that's going to tab to this, and we've got this just right. And then on this other side over here, we're going to do the same thing, fold this out, and this tab's real loose on mine, so it's not a big deal. I mean, it really doesn't matter, because once it's plugged in, it does its job to hold it in place. That's fine. Then these connect. We need these little tab pieces in here to come down. Now we can pull that out just a bit to get a hold of them. This tab piece, it's hard to show up, but you folded it out of the way when you went to bot mode. And then those tab into the fuel tank reserve piece to hold that in place. Which kind of, I mean, you actually don't even need it. There it is in its alt mode. And one thing I want to point out, this little hole right here, looks like it doubles as a trailer hitch. So there's a tab. I'm bumping the camera here. Small stuff. I'm trying to get it. So if you could get it lined up, you got a trailer hitch, and it'll work. It'll do everything you need. So that little bitty part of the chest. I do worry about the paint rubbing off though, using that as a trailer hitch, but it gets the job done. So that works. All right, let's do some comparisons on this. Okay, so here is the team, and that's just how it looks. The Sunicons doing their thing. So the trailer, it is a little bit in the long side or on the long side, but it actually doesn't really look that bad. Here it is like this, but kind of want to point out a few things. So we're going to leave the Sunicons in here, then we're going to bring in a few things. So this is Iron Trans. So Iron Trans actually fits in with this scale. Iron Trans is a little big in my opinion for Legends, even on the Legends Plus side, but it fits in the car mode, sort of. I mean, maybe this is still a little bit too big comparing what you're comparing to this, but then we get into, this is Iron Factory, Iron Trans to Iron Factory. So that's a pretty good size car, but these are all bigger. So all the Sunicons are bigger. So all of this KO Oversize is bigger. Now getting into some New Age, I think that this one is New Age, this one is Magic Square, and then this is New Age too. So you can kind of see size, how it fits. I think it all looks okay to me. Alright, so now you can see how much bigger he is than the G1. So much, much bigger. Just massive compared to it. And it's still a Legend. So yeah, I kind of think some of this Legend stuff is bigger and, you know, of course, better designed than the G1. But still, it's always fun to see where we came from and where we're going. Alright, now to get this trailer transformed up. So we do have to start with this middle piece here. And just folding this stuff out, right, like that. So here's the hip skirts. Come on, untab hip skirt. And then we're going to kind of slide these lower pieces all in. The wheels. Now this wheel here already was slid in, so I didn't notice that was already out. But anyway, slide this in a tad, and this in a tad. So for the wheels, that slid in. And we do have to disconnect this stuff. This came disconnected very easy. So, but I mean, it doesn't really matter because of the weight holds it on there. So, but we're going to disconnect all of these parts, and we are going to probably need some more space here. Disconnect everything for the legs so that we can start building the legs. So, okay. So we have to position everything the way it needs to get positioned. So get the feet down and out of the way. And I guess you just can fold that over. There it goes. That's how the bottom of the foot's going to look. And then same thing over here. Disconnect. And the funny thing is this comes disconnected pretty simple. Pretty easy. And then the wheels are going to go underneath kind of that little, looks like a fence. The railing kind of part. Alright, and it's starting to look like a mess right here, but we have to do a few things. So, fold this piece down and around to get it out of the way for now. And then we're going to, now that kind of lines up, and fold this in, and then turn it around, and it lines up. Now, here's the thing. There's going to be two ways to know if you got this lined up right. I'm going to show you, but this is the way it should look. Kind of just looks right, like it fits. We're going to do the same thing with this side over here. We're going to fold it up and then flip it around to where it matches. So this is the back of it, which is the back of the leg where the car is going to plug in. And you know you got it right for the front because you're going to have these tabs. All these tabs are going to be here for you to tab the front of the leg in, and that's how you know you've got everything aligned properly. Flippity flop aligned properly. And then just put the foot in place. Tighten it up. So here's one leg done, more or less. And so we'll do the other one. So we're going to fold this. Okay, start with this piece. Get it out of the way for now. And we'll just let it rest on the back here. What was it? Power surge? Did you see that? Power surge. Good thing for battery operated cameras, right? All right, moving over here. Good thing for gas power to charge the battery if you need to in an emergency. Still make videos in an emergency. All right, and fold this piece, tab all that in, and move this around. So, all right, we have got this Stiltman going on right here. Covers on. All right, I'm going to move this up a bit, and then we're going to work on the next section here. So let's see here. We're going to pop this out and flip it around, and it does come undone. So I think that's just an issue with a tolerance issue with this particular model, but not a big deal. Flip this piece around, fold this in. Same thing over here. And basically, the whole point of the flipping the hip skirt is so that you kind of hide this tab that tabs into here. You're hiding it back here in the back. It makes it a little less obvious. Mr. Obvious, Captain Obvious. Okay, fold this out here. Mike, you're Captain Obvious. Okay. So I guess I had the legs orientated wrong. So fold that up like so. And then flip this. No? You shouldn't see. Under no circumstances should you be seeing that. So let's fold this, flip this around, fold it up. So there we go. Okay, and then the knees operate properly. Okay, I was backwards there. That's the problem. Well, there's a lot of problems with me, but anyway. Now the hips are right. Good, good, good. Get the hip skirts down. Now you're gonna notice he looks like he's got like extra wide hips and a 22-inch waist. So let's fix that problem. Let's give him a Thanksgiving dinner here and expand his waistline. Now he's like a 34-inch waist. These should tab in right here. Yep. There's a tab on this, and then a slot in there. Let's get that bad boy to tab in. Tab it in. Tab it in. All right, there it is. Okay. So I guess this is going okay. We're going to split this up here. That's not wanting to... Okay. I'm going to have to adjust the camera up. Give me just a second. I don't know if I have more up to it. Don't have much more up to it. Okay. So, to disconnect these, you're going to have to give it a little bit of a wiggle. Huh? Or pull that forward, I guess. So that worked inadvertently. Wasn't what I was trying to do, but it inadvertently worked. So, I'll take it, fold out his chest pieces. They got to clear this. So, why is that not clearing? Let's work on the sides, then we'll get the chest pieces folded out. So, we're going to fold this out. This is going to actually form more of the chest. We are going to disconnect. It's tabbed in here, here, and here, all at the same time. So we're going to disconnect all of that. And then that's tabbed in. So this tabbed in here also. So it disconnected from the arm, but stay connected into the side of the truck. So that's not exactly good. Okay, so we're going to fold this thing up. We're going to fold this piece here out. This is on a hinge. That's going to fold up like so. And then that's going to give us up some freedom here to fold this around. And then we can close up the back of the arm piece there. And then fill out the rest of the armature. Slide that down. We have a hand. I think I'm showing all this. This is the slider. There's the armature. This slides down. There we go. Trying to keep it all in frame. There's a lot going on here. Let me see if I'm not zoomed in or anything. All right. So now, I'm not seeing how come this piece isn't coming out. Stop for a second. I didn't slide it back. This slides back so that you have the clearance that you need to fold those out. So, slide it back. So, anytime you feel like you're forcing something, you're either missing a step, like I just did, So don't force it. That's all I got to say. Don't just force it. All right. So finishing up one side, and then we can make another side look a little bit more clean and proper, I guess you could say. This piece right here folds down like so. Oh man, that is really tight. Just like extremely tight. All right, so we're going to get to another one of these, and let's do this a little bit more. Hope that this doesn't fall apart on me. This piece here is what's falling apart. So we'll untab this. There's that. And then we're going to untab if it came off again. So, I mean, it's not a big deal. I mean, it's designed to be taken apart for a couple of reasons, but for reasons. All right, so we've got this piece here. We're going to go ahead and fold this down. We can do this section here. Maybe I'm a little too close to the camera. And this part here folds out. That folds up. This is going to fold around. Maybe we can go this way. Fold around. And I guess I'll plug this back in so we can pick up where we left off. And pull this down. And then the hand comes out. And then this all comes around. When you see it from the front, it makes a lot more sense how that's supposed to work. This is getting annoying with that thing popping off. And this is supposed to go like that. Tab it in. Tabbing these panels into the back of the chest. Then the head will just kind of fall into place. And this looks like another case of you can build your Menasor without having Motormaster in it. So, I mean, I'm not against that. I don't have a problem with it. Although he does look super hollow from the back. It looks like you're going to be able to build him without putting Menasor in there. But we are going to put Menasor in there. I mean, that just is what it is. And we're going to put all the parts on him and stuff. But, I mean, we're pretty much there. And one small, simple step to finish this up. We're going to fold this over. And it's going to tab into here. And that's how this tab and this tab are going to connect. Same thing on the other side. We're going to fold this over. And it's tight. And it makes a funny sound. But tab all that in. And go. There we go. All right. Let's put all the parts on this thing and have a look at it. We are going to start off with doing the toy look. And so let's just go ahead and take this waist piece off of here. And it plugs in. Pops right off. And we're going to put the legs on since the waist is off. And you can just lift the flaps and put them on too. And swap them out. So there's that. And then... well, I guess, I'm going to leave this on for the toy look. Because that is the toy waist. Now, if you're going to change out this chest piece... there's a screw right back here to change it out. So I really don't think we need to change it out completely. We can just kind of pull it up and see what it looks like once we get everything on. So not really that big of a deal, but there's the chest piece. And, it's actually either one. They look pretty nice, to tell you the truth. So let's get into the next accessory. The next accessory is the Motormaster accessory. So checking this thing out, we're going to go ahead and transfer it real quick so it gets in there. So we just need to disconnect those parts, pull this out. We're going to rotate this around. We can tuck those pieces in, fold this up, fold that up, and fold these in. Or are we going to go out the back? Go back, go back. And, well, I think we could actually leave those tabs out. Yeah, whatever. Anyhow, there it is. And we're going to install it into the back. Here is the back of Menasor. There's a couple of tabs that are going to receive the old Motormaster accessory. And can I get the light on that? Should be able to plug it in good. Like so. Get them in there. So you really don't even need Motormaster, and I know that's starting to be something that we talk about a lot with these Menasors, is that yeah, you can combine them without Motormaster. And I'm fine with that. I don't have a problem with it. Another thing here, we can add these pieces if that's something you want to do, but we're going to wait and do that with the forearms. So the head is really cool because you can just pop it off. Well, if it was plugged in a little better, thought I had it plugged in pretty good. But you can pop the head off, and it just pops right on for the other one. So there we go with the head. That works for me. And what else are we going to need to get this guy armored up into his new look? How about we throw some arms on him? So before, there's many different configurations for the arms. So let's just do the first one first, and we're going to plug this in to here. Let's get this out. Pull the wing out. So we're going to do the full-on version first. Now this is going to be tough to get this in there, but you tab this into. There's a slot, and there's a slot, and there's a tab, there's a tab, and that's how that works. So okay, so I find it easier if you can just remove the arm and then you tab it in like this. Then you can just pop the arm back on, and there you go. You've got that configuration going on right there. We can do the same thing on the other side, and so I'm not sure if you'll, because this elbow sort of gets in the way if you're going to do it this way. So if you're going to do this configuration, I mean, we're just going to show it for like a second. All this work for a second of showing the configuration, but there it is. There it is. That one just went in nice and easy. So you've got that. And then, of course, you can do a few other things with these pieces here. Let's show how these transform. You fold that open, pull this out, put that down, and you clip it on. And one goes on one side, one goes on the other. So I guess trying to crack the code, you do have to plug the tab into the painted slot, which I think is weird. So anyway, that's the way it's supposed to be. And we're going to put it in here. So I guess whatever slot is going to be on the bottom is the one you're going to plug it into, and lining this up. I should have put these on before the cars because I can see the cars popping off, but anyway, there we go. That worked. The arm pops off, the cars pop off, but once you get it all set up, there you go. So we've got this look going on, and let's actually take it back a little bit further, and there he is with this look. I don't think people are going to display that, so I did it first to get it out of the way. And you could also have the chest piece in there. Yeah, looks good. Okay, moving on to the next configuration, and there's just a bunch of configurations. We're going to have to split the figures, the arms, so as easily as they pop off, let's get these bad boys split up a bit. So you have to kind of partially transform them, and it's actually not really that hard. Let's pull it apart a bit. We got to get the waist off this guy. I didn't realize how much you'd have to untransform this guy to disconnect it, but you pretty much have to untransform it quite a bit more than I thought, than I figured. It's not quite as big of a deal with the Wild Rider, but with this one, there's a little more to it, so I guess then there's the hands are going to be in the way now. No way around that. But you just want to get it back into its components so that you can combine it and all of that. I think we need to move that down. Anyway, we're going to see what here in just a second when we get these arms on here. Let's set this one up here too, and like I said, you need to, the Wild Rider, or sorry, the drag strip is easier. So I didn't tab this one in all of the way, and I think that is why you get that extra piece, because it is tight. It's a tight tolerance on this. Okay, pull that off, and then it's a half turn to get it out because it is keyed, just like the other one. So here we go. Get everything put back the way it should be, and I think we're just going to leave that in there like so. And we are supposed to, I guess we're supposed to tuck this in. The thing is, it keeps showing the motor on the instructions and stuff. So I thought that was kind of strange, but it showed the motor in here, but that's not how it works. Pull down, slide in. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and plug this into here. Slots and tabs, tab it in. Now this is gonna be a little bit easier than trying to do the whole thing at the same time. So it should all fit just right. But this tolerance is real tight on this side. I guess that's a good thing. There we go. Well, there we go, I think. And then slide around over here. Plug this guy in. All right, let's get this one, bottom one, plugged in. Oh, fold this around. And almost there. So, lots of time messing around with these configurations. This is why I kind of wanted to breeze through the Motormaster accessory and get into Menasor, because there's just so much that you can do with him, so much to do with him. So, anyhow. All right, so looking at this, we've got him more or less in this next configuration. Now we need to start working on the legs. Now, as you can see, I'm just showing all these arm configurations and stuff like that. So let's get into the legs. We need to plug them in to... So after messing around with the different options there, it looks like, for whatever reason, the slots are smaller on this than they are on this guy. So I went ahead and I'm just going to switch them around. The tabs are a little bigger on one side than the other, so that gives it a bit of a challenge, but they tab on like that. I don't know, maybe it's all in my head. Maybe they're not bigger. Now this guy kind of came apart when I was pushing him on there, but I had a lot of trouble getting this one on. He pops on either side easy. This one I had a lot of trouble getting on anywhere, and I know I'm scratching some paint on him, so I don't think that they made the holes big enough. That tab was too big for the hole, so... Anyway, there is this configuration here, which is probably going to be used the most often. And then we have yet another configuration that we could go into where you use just the cars are the arms themselves. So we can, I guess, do that real quick. So in order to do that, you're going to have to pop the whole arm here off. So we need to de-transform this. So we're going to de-transform this and get all this out of here. We need to pull this assembly out this direction, and then we can retransform it in so that we can have this arm piece ready to go. We will have to reinsert this with the half turn, and then we've got this part of it set up, and then we can put the hand on there. Utilizing this fun piece here, so we get this piece here tabbed in to here, like so, and then we have to remove, which is weird, like, you see that? Remove this out, and then we're going to insert this into here. Yeah, maybe I should have put the hand in first. And we do the same thing on the other side, but let's go ahead and clip this on up top. All the configuration, but it is quite a bit of work. It is quite a bit of work to achieve all this. So, and maybe that's what these other pieces. No, this doesn't affect the other pieces over here. So, there it goes. We got that arm in there. We're going to do the same thing over on this other side. I mean, it's really the exact same thing. And you want me to show you the surgery process again? This side's way easier. I think everything's way easier with this guy for some reason, the way they engineered it. You just reverse that. If you actually think about it, it's quite ingenious how they did this. The whole way they did this is just, that's a good idea. To get you some articulation and stuff. To be able to be an all-in-one in a way. So, I mean, this part here is all-in-one. The picture shows this on the bottom part down here. I don't know how they accomplished that in the picture, but all right, let's pull this out and slide it in the slot. Half turn it, and we've got it. And then we pull the other arm off. Come on, arm. And then we perform some arm surgery by removing that. It's funny too, because I mean, does have a mushroom peg on that side too. So, and in my haste, I didn't see where this thing's going to plug in. Where does this one plug in? Oh, same. Losing my mind, aren't I? Plugs in here. Duh. And then this plugs into here. In my haste. Haste makes efficient video. That's what haste makes. There we go. Plug that in. And we have this configuration, which that is not going to hold very well. So if you want this configuration, you might want to do some polish on this. And it might have some trouble. I can already tell. This configuration is going to have trouble holding the weapons. But if you want to see it, there it is. And I want to do a quick comparison to the toy version. There's the toy version, and looks good. And there's the toy chest. You can subvert expectations for a minute there. There we go. Looking good. So, nice homage to the vintage, and it looks good. Now I'm going to get it into the way I'm going to display mine. Okay, that's a lot of work to do all the little options, but now we're in the mic configuration. So I do want to point out that a couple of things. When I was putting everything the way I wanted, I went ahead and put some of these parts on, and they actually hold a bit better. I mean, it's not drastically better, but it's a little bit better. So there's that. The weapons, they don't tab in. The tabs don't really tab in right. They're held by the fingers, so that's fine with me. They hold in fine. They work, but I expected them to tab. And what else? There's also these options for clipping these pieces in if that's something that you want. And they clip in like so. Pretty simple, actually. If you have the right angle, but I'm going to show this clipping in. Right there. Oh, that fell off. And then put this back on. Yes, arms do fall off. It's just, I don't know if it's the tolerances of this or if it's just the Magic Square design. I think it's just the design, unless they're not putting all the same tabs or the same tolerances or whatever. But there it goes. There it goes. Looking good. Looking good. I don't know if I'm going to display them with the side pieces like that or not, but still, options are good. It's nice to have. So let's get into looking at a few things on this. We can pop these. Now they're on. It's going to be hard to get them off. He looks good. And so, like, all that work to see all the different good options. So, okay, head is side to side and go up and down. It depends on how well you tab that into your Motormaster. Your shoulder goes out about like that. And you can get the 360 all the way around. I'm just worried about these things falling off, so you get a little bit of movement here You just kind of have to avoid the hands, and you have to avoid it popping off. And then the friction base holding of this. So you've got what's going on with this hand movement right here. If I pop that out. And see, the more you mess with it, the looser these tolerances get too. And so with the hand, you do get an opposable thumb with one additional point of articulation, 1, 2, 3 points of articulation on each finger, individual, and it feels solid. And it has to feel solid or it wouldn't hold that gun. And what I'm talking about is look how huge that hole is and how tiny that slot is. So that's an issue. So anyhow, but not a big issue because obviously he can still hold it. His waist, you get ab crunch, the typical Magic Square ab crunch, side to side, all that good stuff. And friction out to here doesn't hold it. Then you can go 90, holds a little bit better, but not really. So, little loose in the hips. 90 right there, and swivel. You got thigh swivel and knee swivel. Come on, his arm's in the way. You got thigh and knee swivel. And then down for the feet, you got this. You got all kinds of stuff with the feet. But yeah, I shouldn't be doing articulation while I'm trying to hold a weapon on that doesn't tab in. So here he is for comparison, and he's slightly bigger than Magic Square. Now, I haven't seen any pictures of this compared to Magic Square side by side. I'm sure someone else has it somewhere, which I'd like to see. But I look at this, the Magic Square one compared to the Vintage, and then this one compared to the Vintage, and this doesn't even look like it's an inch taller. So I'm assuming that the Magic Square is really close to the same height as this. So looking at them side by side, this is big. And I think this is the change, the big change in combiners. Like we saw it in the Masterpiece scale where they started making them bigger, the 21 inch or so with Zeta and Toy World, and everyone else followed suit. And I think we're seeing it here, so let's do that comparison. So this is DX9's Hulky, and this is Iron Factory's whatever they called their Bruticus. And I don't think we can see that with your sword in the way. So as you can see, these are a good, I don't know, 3 inches shorter than him. So he does tower over the rest of them. He's the biggest of them. But I was doing some comparisons online looking, and it looks to me a lot like even the New Age Devastator is about this size. So they are definitely in a new realm, a new size, and depends on how you like it. I like the aesthetic of this so much more than what we see with kind of these older versions. So I don't know if I'm 100% all in on it, but the space I allocate is only 10 inches, and this thing's closer to 12, so I'm going to have to figure something out on that. But there it is. And another comparison here in case you want to check it out. We already looked at the toy version, but anyway, the G1 toy version is there. I don't remember who made that Omega Supreme. I'm thinking it was Iron Factory, but I just don't remember. I didn't buy it new. It was a second-hand one, and it was a really good deal, so that's the only reason I picked them up. But I think Omega Supreme looks pretty good. But Omega Supreme should be at least bigger than a combiner, so scale, hashtag scale, if that's a thing for you, there you go. And for those of you that like the mainline, you can kind of get an idea of how you would scale with your mainline. I actually think that looks fine too. So, I mean, it's a Legend scale figure scaled up so big that you could put them with your mainline. And since this one is a little over half the price of the Magic Square, it's a more budget option. In fact, this is probably going to be similarly priced from this set, will be similarly priced to the one that they're putting out in the mainline anyway. But the mainline one's probably going to be considerably bigger because it's going to be the Commander class and all that kind of stuff. So, interesting to see, but this is Super Duper G1 if you want the Super Duper G1. All right, so here's my look at the deformed Automan BW-003, the KO oversized version of Menasor. This is the Magic Square version, but it's upsized just a tad bit. And what do I think of it? I think it's pretty cool. I think it's a good looking figure. It's interesting that they included a lot of extra parts to to make you have all the configuration. And some of it was from Magic Square, some of it is extra stuff added that maybe a manufacturing error, or they just fixed something as a running fix, running change. I'm glad they included the parts, and that was really nice of them. That holds together a little bit better with the new parts on it. I also want to say that the arms do like to pop off, like the Carbots like to pop off. That's a thing. Some of the tolerances are a little bit off on it, but overall, just a little bit of messing with it. I mean, we deal with Transformers all the time. A little bit of messing with it, you get what you need out of it. The weapons hold into place even though they don't tab in. The hands hold them, as you can see. They're holding them okay. And he has quite a bit of posability, and the plastic feels good quality. Some of the joints, like the hips, still ratchets or anything, but there's not a ratchet because that probably wouldn't have been able to work with the way it transforms. But it's not as tight of a joint as I would expect for that joint. And then the more and more you mess with this, you do feel it loosening up everywhere, which is not a good thing for holding poses. So a couple things here and there. But all of the options, and they did put some of the paint apps on there, so it looks okay. Included this big sticker sheet and all that. It's still interesting. It's a fun figure. I'm glad I got it. Might be a little too big for my collection, but I think the Magic Square one would have been a little bit too big for my shelf space. I don't mind the size of it versus the rest of them. It's just my space for my display. I didn't anticipate it being this tall, but I guess I should have read a little more. But I still like it, and I'm just going to put a dynamic pose like this to get them to duck down and make it underneath the shelf and work out. So let me know what you think about it. Did you get the Magic Square? Did you pick this one up? Are you even considering it? Like, subscribe, Hanger out.